Hey guys, welcome back to TAMIYA Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. So, bit of an odd little video this, but it's one I've been wanting to make for a while. So as the thumbnail says, I just want to give my summary on the 5 cars we've had at the TAMIYA Legends Arena, aka Kids BMX track. It's the closest thing I found locally to me that is almost a track. So I've dug the 5 cars out that we've had there, starting with the DB01 Durga, Avante, Egress, DT02 MS and DF03 MS. So 5 incredibly different style of cars. In this video I want to just talk about how I felt they performed. Now, before we get started, what you guys need to remember is I'm no racer. Yeah, these opinions I'm giving on these cars are just my own. There was quite a distance between the different running videos. There was a huge learning curve for me personally with the jumps. And in hindsight, if I did this all again, the results that I'm going to put these 5 cars into, like which I feel was the best, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. But yeah, I think, again, in hindsight, if I went back and did all this again, knowing what I know now, the results would probably be different. But I thought it'd just be a little bit of fun to make it, because winter's here now and I'm not going to have another car at the track until next year when the snow disappears. So yeah, first of all, it was great fun, really good fun. I enjoyed running my cars up and down car parks, tarmac. I have no problem with that on a loose gravel. But yeah, when I found this track, it's a whole different ball game when you're doing jumps. Now, if you do follow this channel, you will also know, if you've watched the track videos, that track is not scaled to 1/10 cars, which is the biggest problem that track has. Now, what I mean by that is, it's because it's so small and it's got, I don't know, what's it got? It's got like seven jumps in such a small track. Then you can't land properly, so it's all about hitting a jump correctly so the car flies through the air and lands correctly. But if that's then gonna, because it's so small, if you do that and it's gonna land onto another jump, then it's really difficult. So I'm not making excuses for my terrible driving, although I do think if you've watched each video, as it gets to the end of the video, I'm going around way quicker than I ever started, and I'm jumping and better as well. That's my take on it. So yeah, it's not an ideal track, which I don't want to blow sunshine out my own bottom, but I think, again, towards the end of each video, you could see that I was handling the cars to the track and to the performance of the cars, if that makes sense. So as I say, you couldn't just give it full beans over a jump and then just carry on every jump. You had 2 jumps from memory, you could sort of give it full beans, and then you had to come completely off the power, land, sort of almost freewheel over the second hump, and then on the third one take off again, and then you come round the banking. What I will do, in case you've not seen any of these videos, I'll link all of these 5 track videos in the description. It might be a bit of fun if you've not seen them. And the plan is also to do a full 2-wheel drive section next year. Again, we'll do the DT02 MS just because it's here, but there's going to be a Dynastorm Super Astute, TRF201, might even throw in a wild one, you know, things like that. And we'll probably take some of these back as well, especially the DB01 Durga. And I think I'm going to run a big wig round there as well, and 100% a Manta Ray, and the Top Force. So much running videos to make, but again, now that's all for next year. So the results might surprise you. Again, just bear in mind, I'm not saying whatever car I pick in #1 position is the best car out of these 5. I'm not saying that. It's just on the day and the conditions, this is the one that I really got round quicker and probably, you know, I had less hassle with. So yeah, let's get into it. So out of the 5 cars I ran, it breaks my heart to say, in 5th position is the Avante, and it was a 2012 model as well. It's my favourite car of all time, but it's a handful going around the track. Now, that wasn't the first car I took there either. It was the second time I'd been there. so I had a better understanding of the track and what I needed to do. But this is the only car where the improvement from the beginning of the video to the end wasn't very much, if I'm honest. Yeah, I just struggled with it, and I'm not clever enough, I'm not race savvy, setup savvy enough to tell you why that was. This thing ran, obviously before we took it to the track, it ran superb on flat tarmac. A little bit squiggly, but it, you know, it went where you want it to go. Took it on gravel, it was in its element, you know, sliding all over, powering off, really good car. But when I added the jumps and lands into it, it wasn't great. This is probably the, out of the 5 cars I'm going to show you, there's 2 of them, and this is one of them, that I don't think if I took it back it'd be any better. Just my opinion. It didn't jump well as well. Very difficult on that track, on that particular track, to get it to sort of land correctly. So although it's my favourite car of all time, unfortunately the Avante was in 5th position. In 4th position was the DF03 MS. So this is a full spec car, and this runs really well, on tarmac gravel, really well. But in my opinion, this car doesn't jump very well. I did make a small improvement on the track video of this car towards the end of it, but yeah, it never felt comfortable doing it. Again, don't know what that is. It gets round the track superb, but again, for me, it was more of a balance thing. It didn't seem to jump well. Now, you know, had I been in a position, or maybe I will be in a position in the future, to get this on a full-size track, then I might change my mind, because what we are talking about is a BMX track at the end of the day. But compared, out of the 5 cars, this is in position number 4, unfortunately. It looked superb going round, and it went round well, but the jumping side of it, and the landing side of it especially, was, I didn't like it. It was very nose heavy. So that's number 4. So this one might surprise you. Don't turn off, I'm going to explain why. There is a good reason. So this is in 3rd position, which is a DB01 Durga. Now, this is obviously the best car out of a lot for a track car. This thing is absolutely superb. But this was the first car I took to the track. I had ball tyres on, and I kind of struggled to get it around. But again, towards the end of that video, it was going around way better. But right now, because I'm comparing the 5 cars, just how much I enjoyed them, then this is, it's in 3rd place, but it's really close to joint 2nd with the next car, if I'm honest. But the caveat to that is, if I went on, I should say when I go back with this car with the correct wheels and tyres on, this will blow the other stuff out of the water. I fully get that. It's just unfortunate that I took this for the first time. As I say, I 100% know when I take this back, with the setup it's got now, this will blow everything else out of the water. This is the best car I've had on the channel this year by miles. Last year it was, and before that it was always a top 4, so I really enjoyed it. And then this came along, and there's just nothing like this. This is just a superb piece of kit. The Egress came close to it, but this can absolutely blow the Egress out of the water in general handling. Just a great buggy. But yeah, unfortunately for this video, for the purposes of this video, it's in 3rd spot. Now, we've got the Egress and DT02 MS left to take 1st and 2nd position. Any ideas which one's going to be next? And in 2nd spot is the Egress. And I bet you guys thought it was going to be the DT02 MS, didn't you? This thing was absolutely epic on the track. It was Durga Avante. This was the 3rd car I took to the track. Run it round on pretty good tyres. This is lowered now for sure, but I had the high caps at the ride height full. This thing was awesome. This, in my opinion, on all of the videos, This was the car that I made the biggest improvement on from start of the video to the end of the video. Towards the end of the video, I had this thing going round and it was just superb. This thing jumps so well. I didn't have to worry about it jumping, if that makes sense. A little bit of care, but not a great deal. It just did it automatically, and going around the track in general, it was just superb. So much grip, and I got some absolutely stunning action shots of it going over jumps and landing and things like that. Absolutely just phenomenal, and it was just, on a personal note for me, it was just so much fun running an Egress. And you know, you've got to kind of say, I was running it pretty hard. Doing those kind of track videos, that's how you break things. But yeah, absolutely superb. Nothing negative to say about this at all. It was that good that I'm not too sure if I took it back to that track, if I could get it round there any quicker or any better. I don't think I could, if I'm honest. But after this video, it left my mouth watering to get this to a proper RC track, because I'd love to see how it goes round. I don't know if today's tracks, the jumps are too big. Don't know. You know, today's tracks and back in the day tracks are way different. It might end up breaking this, but hopefully next year there's going to be 2 or 3 cars that make it to a proper club meeting, and I think this is going to be one of them. So yeah, looking forward to that. And in number 1 spot for me was the TAMIYA DT02 MS. The only 2-wheel drive car I've had at the track out of the 5. Before I got there, I thought this would be pretty pants. Again, I've got no experience, so I'm talking out of my butt. That was just my gut feeling, that because it was 2-wheel drive, it wouldn't get around there nearly as good as the 4-wheel drive cars. Well, lo and behold, this thing got round way quicker than anything else. I'm guessing that's due to the weight of it. You know, it hasn't got a gearbox in the front. This thing just jumped so well. It was very similar to the Egress, but even easier. Didn't really have to worry about the jumps and hitting them at the right, with the throttle on, throttle off. From memory, even throttle off, you know, it still jumped amazingly. If you've not seen that video, for the first couple of minutes on a certain bend, because it is 2-wheel drive, I was really struggling for grip round the banking because it had sort of loose stones there. So, but once I cleaned them off, this thing went round. This wasn't the last car I had here, but this was the 4th car. I then went back with the DF03, so it's not like this is just me being a little bit sort of nostalgic for memory because it was the last one and I thought it was brilliant. No, this one stood out. If you get a chance to watch that video, you'll see that from quite early on, this thing's going round well, and towards the second half of the video to the end, it was like lightning. I was going round really quick, and it was just lapping the jumps up, jumping and landing perfectly. So yeah, very happy. Again, with that said, before I go any further, just remember, knowing what I know now, when I go back, if I went back with the same cars, this outcome would be different, and I'm 100% sure the DB01 Durga would be levels and levels above this stuff. But for me personally, the DT02 chassis is absolutely superb. This is only the second one I had. I had a standard Sand Viper. Well, I say it was standard. It was a better spec. It had UJs and ball raced and stuff like that. But I only got to run that on tarmac and gravel, and then I moved it on, and I regretted it as soon as I did it because it was so enjoyable. And then obviously when I got a chance to get the MS version, which is way better spec, it just hammered home how good this chassis is. Now I know there's a lot of love for the DT02, but yeah, I would just say if you've never had a DT02, I would, you know, I'm not going to recommend it, but it's just so much fun. So again, guys, don't take it too serious. These are just my opinions, and it's a lot of it's just for my own enjoyment. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy I made that video. It's been something I've wanted to make after we finished the last one with the DF03 MS. So guys, once again, thanks so much for watching. It's really appreciated. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us. If you do that, smash that notification bell for our weekly videos. And as always, guys, happy RCing.